Hello and welcome to Page Burners. We are starting our way through House of Chains, which is the fourth book of the Malazan Book of the Fallen. This group is working our way through the Malazan books in publication order, which means the books by both Stephen Erikson and Ian Esselmont. We are about 1.9 books away from picking up an Esselmont book. Today's discussion is going to be for the prologue and the first two chapters of House of Chains. We work our way through approximately 100 pages of, I think, the Kindle edition every week. The reading schedule is up on the Patreon forum if you'd like to read along with us. With me, of course, I have the usual group of friends. Carl, would you mind starting us off with introduction?
Yeah, I'm Carl. This is my second time through the whole series. I've read a couple of the books now 3 times, but House of Change, this is my second read through. And I'm especially excited to be back. One, because it's been a minute since I've seen my friends here, but two, because I just finished a reread of The God Is Not Willing, which is, the first book in the Witness trilogy. And, for first time readers, you may find that name of or it's not a trilogy, it's a quartet now, but the name, The Witness, maybe sounds a little familiar after these chapters. And so it's just, needless to say, very interesting to read these back to back. There is some pretty distinct connections. And also happy to celebrate that No Life Forsaken, the second book in the quartet, just came out last week.
That's right. I just got my copy today. Even though I haven't read the first book of the Witness trilogy, I will eventually. But when it came out, I hadn't finished the Book of the Fallen yet. So
I
I
will
set it
also
for
say
later.
before I go get my headphones, because there is an echo that is my fault, that the thing I am most looking forward to talking about is the dynamic between our three Toblikai, or no, what do they call themselves? Teblor. I think it's something I enjoyed my first time through, but I really kind of dug into it this time, and the kind of subtle differences in the ways they thematically and emotionally play off each other. All right, I'm handing it off to Shannon.
My name's Shannon. This is also my second time through the series, and the thing I'm most looking forward to talking to tonight is, I've talked before that one of the things I most enjoy about Malazan is just the lore, the world itself, and so the stuff at the Fork Sale when we met our first Fork Sale, and we kind of got into a little bit of that. I'm really looking forward to talking about that. So, Dan, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Dan, and this is the second time reading this book, I'm pretty sure, because I still remember reading these parts. At some point, we're going to get to a part that I don't remember, and then I'll be like, this is where I stopped, but I'm not sure where it is. But what am I interested in talking about? I was going to say what Shannon said, but I can't say it anymore. So I'm going to say, I don't know, what am I going to say? Actually, I'm not even sure how far we were supposed to read until today. So maybe I
Where
don't
did
want
you
to
read
say
until?
spoilers if someone is listening and hasn't read that far. So I might skip that.
Okay. For me, the thing I'm most interested in discussing is the thing in the prologue, what the hell that was. And yeah, I think we'll keep an eye on it to see how it ties together with everything else in the book later. I don't think we've quite found a connection yet, although there is a theory I want to discuss, but I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. But yeah.
What's in the prologue? I forgot. No, I don't remember what happens in the prologue.
There's a guy who gets cast off by his family, by his whole tribe, and sheared and tattooed as an outcast. And there's an
They're
ocean
teased
that is
editor.
new.
We
Yeah,
we do learn that. Like, that's not a
yeah,
spoiler.
we
They're
we
teased
learned that
editor.
too, I guess. Yeah, and
Okay,
yeah,
I
and
see.
he's left to drown in the sea.
For some reason, I thought there was. Who's the guy that's following Icarium?
Mapotra.
For some reason, I thought it
It's
was connected to him, or it was him or something, but it's probably
because
wrong.
this character's name, I do believe we get his name, is Troll Singar. So Troll,
Oh,
that's
that might be why.
understandable.
Makes
Okay.
sense. Wait, Mapo's name is Mapo Runt, and he's a Trell?
He is a
Is this
Troll, excuse
She's
me.
okay.
Yes. Which
Mm.
I believe the etymology of that is from troll. That
Oh.
I think so. I'm not 100% positive, but certainly my reading of a lot of the races as presented in the Malazan world are kind of rejiggered, subverted, playfully analyzed takes on kind of classic
Hmm.
fantasy races, with the exception of our Neanderthals, who are the Imass, and even then, they're kind of as I've mentioned, as we talked about, a play on the like undead horde, and then of course the Kachane Shamal, who are and actually we meet here in these chapters another one, actually a more unique race that
The four
certainly I
cruel
can't think
say?
of any. Yeah, the Four Cruel Assail.
Yeah.
I mean, our first then, or Foral Khan, as the Teblor refer to them.
Yes. Yeah. That's nice. I like how names shift and change through the series. Like different characters say it differently. Like when we read Blood Follows, they were calling. But was it there that they were calling the Malazans Melzan? And
Yeah.
yeah,
In Seven Cities, they
Melvin.
call them Mesla.
Mezla. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like the variations we get. Okay, so we can start with the prologue, I guess. I guess the
Before we do,
question. Yes, go ahead.
I want to ask a very important question that I don't think we've talked about before.
hmm
Do you all have Halloween costumes?
Do I got one for my husband.
Nice.
I
Did
I
he pick
plan
it,
to
or
hide.
did you just like force it upon him?
No, he wanted. He does a really good Joker impression from the Nolan movies, and so he wanted
Nice.
to dress up like the guy. He's been saying he wants to for the last 3 years and terrify the kids who come home for candy. So finally got it for him. So I plan to not be around when the kids come, so he can take all the blame for scaring them.
Anyone else?
Nice. No, unfortunately, no.
No one else dresses up, doesn't go to Halloween party or anything. Okay. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
do have a Halloween party I'm going to this weekend, and I am going as I think I'm going to go as, I'm still actually kind of trying to figure it out. But anyway, Palamedes Sextus from the Locked Tomb series, which I don't think anyone here has read. But it's a bespectacled character, so that's always useful, when you wear glasses, especially masks, pain in the ass.
I
Do
thought
love
you
a
were
good
gonna
mask.
connect it all to like you're gonna go as dressed as someone from Malazan, but
I really should one of these days, but I just don't know who I would go as. Like, who could I just feel like they
just they
would be,
don't
like,
have a
pretty
very.
complicated.
But there's no like unified like or like how to say like visual like everyone imagines this
Yeah.
character like that because there's no. I don't know.
I mean,
There's no
a lot
famous
of the characters who
representations.
do have really distinct visuals would be really hard to do, and I will say I'm a fan of
Yeah,
relatively easy Halloween costumes.
yeah.
I don't wanna spend a bunch of money or, like, spend hours doing makeup or something.
Right.
But
Uh,
there's no additional Malazan with like illustrations throughout, right? Only like the covers.
no, I think the
Is there?
Subterranean Press editions have some illustrations inside them. I
Okay.
may be wrong, I don't own any of them, but I feel like they might. Alright, well, on that note, the prologue.
Yes, the prologue. Um, So yeah, like you said, we find out. We know that the artist eater. There's one guy who's being what's the term they use? Sean.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's the word. So they take his hair off, they tattoo him, mark him as an outcast so that he can never come home again. And it is that. Am I remembering something from later in the book where exile is the worst thing that can happen to them? Um, that's
Nope,
a,
that's explicitly said. Yeah,
okay.
this is the worst punishment that they can do to someone of their tribe.
Okay. So, yeah, I really like the bit with the ocean and how the like the whole discussion around how the sea came in and some river somewhere must have changed its course and started flooding this realm. So they are in different realm now than I guess maybe we have been before, or I guess we don't know whether this place is the same as where the rest of Malazan books
Isn't
have been set.
I thought it must be where they found the cylinder in the second book, because it was described as a
Oh,
flooded realm. So I just assumed it was sort of the same one in a different time or different location.
and that
Yeah, I
was
think
also a
you're right
But
about
narrow
that.
ocean, right? Yeah, yeah.
maybe, and if there was Twisted in both, right? That's why I was
Mm.
like, there must be some sort of connection to that.
So it's definitely a different realm than from where the previous books happened, and possibly this book is happening.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I didn't remember the cylinder, but that makes sense. That was also a shallow sea or ocean. So is this one. And okay. So what flooded this place? Do we know? I know Shannon, you said that you found out from the wiki. Is it something we know already, or uh, is it something from a later book?
I don't totally remember. It's been a minute.
Okay.
Is
Yeah,
this
I
realm?
was.
We've
Mhm.
talked about it too before. I know when we were reading about the Salanda and Deadhouse Gates, but is this? Do we know which warren this is?
I don't think so.
Is it
Is
Emerlon?
it
I
could
think it might be
be?
Emerlon, curled Emerlon, the Elder Warren of Shadow.
Yeah. I feel like there was speculation, but there was no confirmation of anything. I think I remember.
Because I feel very confident that. Well, that may be a spoiler, so I shouldn't say that. I think it's curled Emerlon. I think they
Okay.
maybe discussed that because we first learn about curled Emerlon and the Teast is your in Deadhouse Gates from
Mm.
the Salanda, right? That's the first time they
Mhm.
appear, I think.
Yeah, are they named as Testeater or just their colors mentioned that they look
I
like
think
a
They're
they're
shaggy,
named.
but
named.
in Salanda
Yes,
when we meet them in Salanda? Okay.
pretty
If they're
sure.
not named later in Memories of Ice, when they find that
Yeah,
body, they get named for sure.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. So,
No, they
oh,
definitely are
sorry.
named. Because I remember it's like the Talani Mass, I believe, are the ones who name them, the ones who show up.
True.
Because the others like look at them and they think they're like, oh, these are like the Tais Andi, but they have different skin color. That's strange. And they're
Mm.
wearing different clothing, more like
Mhm.
kind of primitive clothing. What the hell is going on here? And there are dead Tais Andi. What's going on? And then the Talani Mass show up and are like, oh yes, these are the Taisedur. Don't you know who they are? Now one of us is going to fake commit suicide because fuck you. That's why.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember.
So, okay. So unless someone else knows why the river flooded, I want to take a guess at it. I don't know. So you know how the huge river is mentioned repeatedly, which froze.
Hmm.
I guess in one of the epigraphs that froze that was formerly frozen, but then it is now dry. I think is that the river that flowed into the other realm and flooded everything and brought these bones up here. And anyway,
Wait, I'm
I
sorry,
thought
which
that was
river?
interesting. Yeah. There's a river on the way the Teblor make towards the lowlands. I think that's around where they find the Focrul Sail. That whole section of bones that they cross, I think there used to be a river flowing
Ah,
through that.
very
And
interesting.
there is no longer a river there.
Well, for
Okay.
sure, I think the water came from a different realm,
Mm,
right? I'm pretty sure that's implied in some way that it came from a different realm, right?
yeah. Yeah,
Like,
I think so. The
Well,
mhm.
it says it, isn't it? The sea had been
okay,
born of a river on
Yeah,
another realm.
okay,
yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Well, in that case, you have to be right, Varsha. Yeah, if that's what they say, then it's got to
Yeah,
be that river. I mean, Erikson, that's how he likes to write things, where he sets something up and then he kind of quietly, subtly reveals the answer in like the next chapter or two, and
Yeah.
then you only like pick up on it on your like reread or third reread.
but
Yeah,
why was that place full of bones then? I guess, yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
There
those
was
Rhine
an
mass.
there was an epigraph that explained how that river used to be frozen, and it had a lot of what's the term, fossils. It had fossilized or frozen, I think, not quite fossilized, um a lot of bones, and among them mostly were the imas, but also there was a jagged
Teblor,
in
right?
there. Yeah.
Because it was, so it
Yeah.
probably when the mass were fighting the Jagged, and the Jagged created all these glaciers,
Mm,
right, to protect themselves. And
yeah.
then I guess they were all frozen and then melted and into a
Well,
different realm.
I'll say, Carl, Varsha, me, we should know the origin of this. We've just all forgotten it. It is revealed in one of the books coming up. Dan, I don't know. That's why I'm not going to say anything.
I don't think I know.
Yeah, I don't remember
I
it.
did. I definitely didn't know until I like. Oh, it just tells me. Like it's this book. It tells you it. I'm like, oh, okay. If you say so.
I mean, my guess was definitely that it's something related to the Jagged, just
Mm,
because there are a bunch of giant glaciers and they're melting. We are explicitly told that in this book. We're given no other details about them other than that they're around where the Teblor live and they're starting to melt.
mm.
Makes sense.
Cool. Onwards to meeting the war leader off on his journey to prove himself the awesomest and greatest and bravest and courageousest warrior the Teblor have ever seen.
Yeah.
I just want to briefly say that I am shocked by how expository chapter 1 is. Like, it just like opens up with a bunch of exposition laying out like who the 7 like gods that are worshipped are, you know, who the Teblor are, like who Karsa is and his whole family dynamic. A part of me wonders if some of at least like Karsa's internal scene, kind of recounting his family and like his shame about his father and things like that, were added in like after the fact, like with editorial notes, because a lot of that information we learn immediately after that through action, through his relationship with his father and his grandfather and the horse and everything. So I wonder if that was an editorial note, or if Erikson was like, I've had too many people tell me they have no idea what's going on, and so I'm just going to lay everything out. I don't know. I do
Maybe.
appreciate, however, that you are immediately told the gods are like fake gods, and they've struck a deal with the chained god, and it basically just, I mean, this whole section is basically about subverting the barbarian trope, right? And in the world, subverting Karsa's whole point of view. Everything's built on a lie, which they find out. They explicitly, like, that's a major thing that happens. Is that chapter 1 or chapter 2? It's in one of the chapters we read.
Mm-hmm.
Both, really. When they, especially Karsa, my favorite thing about Karsa in these chapters is we learn, he's modeling himself after his grandfather, and not
He's a
almost,
liar.
everything he believes about his grandfather's a lie. And
I
he
love that
comes
so
across the
much.
village who tells in chapter 1, and then in chapter 2 he gets to Silver Lake, and then it's just more of, oh yeah, we nursed him back to health. He was almost dead, and then he killed everybody and ran off.
What a jerk. What a jerk.
I mean, that's definitely
Yeah,
something that, like, he is just the worst in the beginning. Like, I remembered that, but it's still, like, hard reading about how much he just sucks. Like, he is the worst.
Yeah. Well, even in the house with his dad, he's also being an asshole.
Yeah.
He says, yeah, but like you're my son, but you're like weak and you don't know anything. And then the dad's basically like, we don't say anything, and after that he's like, go away forever, never which was I do like that scene a lot.
Yeah. Where he said we're done. We're done. Bye.
We're done.
Yeah.
I like how there's a lot of like kind of twists, like it's set up in a way and then it changes, like how you would expect him, and the way he talks with like Karsa talks with his other members of the expedition, you would think like, oh, he says, oh, let's do this thing, and the other people say, no, let's be more cautious, let's be all that. So you expect it to go bad, and then it turns out he's actually like pretty genius at all of this sort of thing, right? So like he's
Hmm. Hmm. Was it really smartness though, or was it more that he lived up to his claims? Um, they were doing something foolhardy, and I think I think the companions were doubting his abilities more than his strategy, and or rather that it wouldn't work because they didn't think he was as strong or as skilled as he was. But then we got all these scenes of him leaping and slashing people's heads, and so basically he lived up to his claims and his vows and whatever he asked them to witness. So I'm trying to remember, was there like clever strategizing that he did,
think
or
he
was it
had
more um
some good like deception, some interesting like manipulation of his enemies, making them think like, for example, he made the enemies think that they were ahead instead they were
mm,
behind them, so they were following them. And he was making them think that it was actually someone else from a different tribe, not them.
mm,
So I think there was actually
right.
quite a lot like smart
Hmm.
tactics in what he did.
You definitely see that Karsa's not stupid. Like,
Yeah.
he's actually very cunning, but he is reckless as well. Like, he's so driven by this need to prove himself the baddest mofo around that, I mean, there is like one battle that he just explicitly charges into with the, I mean, what we find out are like slavers.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
an interesting character, I guess. Because the way it was set up at the beginning, it almost felt like Karsa was like the stupid one or whatever, just the fighting guy. And then there's the other, the more fat guy, which is like, oh, he's the smart one. And then there's the tracker, which is kind of like the follower, but it's like he mediates in between them, sort of thing. But it turns out, no, he's like, Karsa is actually like really smart also. They're smart in
Mm.
different ways,
Yeah.
right?
I think he even proves to be wise. Yeah, I think I see that now. You wouldn't think him to be smart because of how reckless he is, or I mean, it's reckless for everyone else, but I think he's proven himself to largely live up to what he thinks he can do. Um, he, I guess, he underestimates the strength of everybody else or the numbers when he reaches the lowland. But yeah, I
We are
did.
given,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we are given important context to Karsa's power very briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Who says it to him? It's got to be the Fork Rule of Salle, I want to say, who basically says that Karsa's been chosen, and if she kills Karsa, someone else will be chosen.
I thought it
so
was
there's
the
no
fake
reason.
gods talking between each other that they said that. But I think the focus here also says that. I
Yeah,
think before
they
that,
both
the
did.
gods say that.
But yeah, basically there is a force empowering Karsa, though he doesn't know it, which is why he is so extraordinary, even among his people who are giants, literally. I mean, we find out, right, that the children they're killing are in fact human beings who they call children because they're the
What?
size of their children's.
Yeah. Well, some of them. He did kill actual Teblor children.
True. Really good guy, Karsa Orlong.
Yeah, well, and it's in chapter 1, that village he comes across, yeah, and he just rapes all the women. So
And he
it's
kills
pretty
the
terrible.
children. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Karsa is really like Erikson's commentary on barbarians, like Conan. It's like this is what they would really be like. We kind of glamorize them, and they kill the monster, and they have some scantily clad woman swooning over them. But really and truly, it's more just murdering and raping.
Yeah. I mean, he's pulling right from... It's not just like... He is intentionally kind of criticizing the trope and exactly what you're saying, Shannon, but it's with this edge of like, this is what like raiding cultures are like. Like that's a lot. These are a lot of the values that they, historically, that they value, right? That they promote. And then, but showing also that the BS underlying a lot of that, and the fact that very few people ever live up to this romanticized, if that's even the right word, idea of the barbarian, right? That Karsa is the only one who really does kind of live up to it. And even then, with all his divinely ordained power and his giant size and his extreme force of will, he still is beaten ultimately. He can't just beat everyone through sheer might and force of will. He loses to
No,
the
he ran into the
Malazans.
Malazans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did want to bring that up. So what do we think about? So we got these Teblor, which are giants,
Mm-hmm.
and at least this one tribe is completely, it sounds like subjugated by who they call children, the humans. Um, shouldn't the Teblor be like ruling everything around this area? Like, why are these people that are so clearly more powerful than the humans also so clearly subjugated by them?
Well, I think it's said that there's like a lot less Teblor than humans.
Yeah, that's a big
right?
part.
Because they live also a long time
Well,
and they don't have many children, if I remember correctly, compared to humans.
that's true. I mean, because well, and they do explicitly talk about how the tribes don't get along. I think there's 7 tribes for the 7 gods, so these tribes don't actually get along with each other. So they're already kind of alienated from each other. So
Yeah.
there's few. And yeah, you're right about the age thing, because we find out, it was like what, hundreds of years ago that Palk was in Silver Lake. So they must
Yeah.
age really slowly. Like,
We also know that they are intentionally, or they were intentionally set on this kind of self-destructive path by the ancestor, right? I mean, that's one of the great ironies we discover. One of the great ways that Erikson subverts the barbarian trope is that moment where they find the relief that essentially lays out the Teblor's history, that they were actually peaceful. And they weren't just peaceful, they had greater technology. And one of them essentially decided to start a program of inbreeding and barbarianism. I forget the reason he gave, actually. I'm completely
I was gonna
blanking
say,
on that.
break that
He had
down
some
for us, Carl, because
reason.
that was very confusing when I read it.
He had a very clear reason. He like explicitly states it, but he basically decided that he needed to. I'm not using this in the slang kind of offensive way. I'm using this in like the classical sense of it, but retard the culture. He wanted to turn back time and slow its growth. and
Yeah, I
that's
didn't
what
because
I
yeah,
mean, it
Nakarian
clearly
had
was
something to do
successful.
with it. I wasn't
Yes, yeah.
totally following this part, yeah, because it was like, yeah, so the elders described leading survivors of the Highlands after the devastation caused by mysterious beings called the Talana Mass. To preserve and purify their blood, he divides the families and scattered them, following the
I think he
laws of
thought
isolation taught by Akarium. So
Yeah,
I
because
guess
there
they're
was
following
Icarium. Yeah.
they're following the idea.
I think if I could be wrong about this. I would need to reread it to double check, but I think it might be he thought that was the way to save his people because they were, like, being wiped out. They were being
Yeah,
genocided by the Talani Mass, and so I think his idea was that if we make them not a threat because they're so backwards and so inbred, which is the answer to your question, Shannon, about why they don't
yeah,
conquer everything, why they've been conquered, is because they're just stuck technologically, culturally, and they're literally inbred. And
yeah,
so, humans who populate really quickly and, evolve technologically manage to outplay them. I mean, the
yeah,
Malazans embody that, right? The Malazans are kind of like the embodiment of progress. And it's not
yeah.
always
Because
clean and it's
innovation,
not
yeah,
like, right, like this inherent, moral goodness, right? Because they conquer people. But they innovate, they evolve, they create new technologies, they adapt. They welcome different perspectives. It's like it's kind of the tide of time in some ways. Although even that's not like a straight line, as you see with the Teblor, where they literally got pushed back into the Stone Age.
I mean, are there many cases in real life in which cultures like go back? You know what I mean?
Uh,
I'm trying to think.
I mean the Middle Ages,
well,
right?
Well, I mean, if it's
Well, I know that's
arguable.
exaggerated, but there were actively technologies lost. So
yeah, well, for this story, I would say I would say Erikson's basing it off of Conan because Conan
Yeah.
The Sumerians were based on the Atlanteans who had their very advanced society destroyed and threw them back into barbarism. So I think that's probably where he dug that up for this.
that's such an interesting point too, because that's a classic fantasy trope, isn't it? Tolkien does it too, of the highly advanced, like superior version
Mhm.
that devolved over time. And this is like the first example of that we've really seen in Erikson's world. It
Well,
is kind of him playing on that trope, isn't it?
yeah. I wonder if it's the first example. I don't. Well, it depends. I don't know. I don't know if you would consider the change Male like very different species, but it's still like the same idea of like a lot of technology that was lost, I guess.
Well, and if we're talking about real life, I was just talking about this the other day to somebody because I'm a guy, so obviously I always talk about the Roman Empire. Um,
Yeah.
but like 1,000 years ago or whatever, you had these 1,000-year-old Roman roads that were still in existence in the Middle Ages that were amazing, but like the current roads were like goat tracks and falling apart because
Yeah,
they had lost the ability to make these great things.
yeah, but I don't know. I always think that it's not how to say it's not like they lost the ability to do a lot of technology or they lost the information to do it. It's more like it was not relevant anymore for the society they were in to do those things, and they didn't have the organization. Like they didn't have an empire anymore, but needed these sort of things. I guess I don't know. I'm not sure that this thing that we see in a lot of fantasy narratives of this much more elevated society that collapsed and we forgot a lot of things. I don't know. It never rang true to me in the historical thing. I think it's just in my opinion, I think it's just a fantasy thing.
Wait, but
I
aren't
think
there like
it's
the Indus Valley civilization and I guess the Mesopotamian civilization? Like there were things that we were
I
surprised
think it's
about that they had before, right?
I think it's
Uh,
greatly exaggerated in fantasy. I
Yeah.
can meet you
yeah.
there, Dan. I could say that they exaggerate it because this is dramatic writing.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I
with
do think
Shannon.
that,
Yeah.
there is something to be said about, I mean, I think Rome is a perfect example. It was an empire that then fell and then got got broken in half, and it
Yeah.
never, I mean, it
But it's,
didn't devolve into barbarism, no, but it definitely wasn't
yeah.
capable of doing the things it was once capable of doing.
Yeah, I guess. But it's not like they forgot how to make steel or they forgot how to, make a glass or whatever. They could still do all those things. Like, it's not like all this technology got lost necessarily. Like we see in a lot of these, like here, in a lot of fantasy, it's a complete,
Yeah.
like they forget so much stuff.
A lot of the
Right.
plumbing and like like aqueducts and like those were, I mean, as far as I understand, were like basically lost because no
Yeah.
one kept them up. The cities crumbled over time,
Yeah.
and
Isn't there like a Greek
libraries have been
fire that
burned.
we
Yeah,
still don't
Greek
know how to make?
fire is thing, but most of the stuff like plumbing, it's not like they didn't know how to do
Like,
it. It's more like they didn't have the necessary society organization to maintain it in an efficient way. So like,
yeah.
if you don't have an empire, the people in the city cannot go to the mountains to get everything organized. Continue, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's,
And I can agree with you with that, Dan, because like going back to the roads thing, I don't think they necessarily forgot how to grade a road. They just didn't have a military and the manpower to do it in.
yeah.
Um,
Because I don't know, like a lot of the architecture, like the Gothic architecture that they did in the Middle Ages, like it was much more advanced than a lot of the
Right.
Roman architecture before. So it's not, I don't know.
To be
It
fair, the
was
Gothic
always, yeah,
architect, like that's much later in the Middle Ages too.
true.
Like when
Very
people
true.
talk about the Dark Ages, they're talking about like, like from the fall of Rome to like 900 AD.
Fair enough.
But I think, I mean, I think you're right in a big way, and certainly it's never nearly been as dramatic as like fantasy often portrays it, like Shannon said.
Yeah.
The kind of loss of technology, and it comes from this like civilizational romantic narrative of like when the Normans came and conquered England, like that's in the Anglophone world, like is kind of where people start like have treated it historically as like civilization was kind of restarted after Rome fell, which is silly because like the Byzantine Empire existed for most of that time, and there was lots of like strong developing civilizations, but I do think there's some truth to the idea that things degraded, and that I don't know if the technology was lost. I mean, I would be shocked if some wasn't lost, just considering like, I mean, was it Varsha or who said that we don't know how to make Greek fire, and like libraries have been burned? Like that's one of the classic warmonger things to do, destroy the knowledge, because knowledge, empowers people. But which I get to circle back is kind of the point, I think, of the Teblor, is that they have been intentionally set back and intentionally kept ignorant and weak. And we are seeing and insulated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we are seeing them come up against kind of their polar opposite in the Malazan Empire now, and specifically through Karsa Orlong. We'll see where his story goes.
have we seen any other Toblikai so far in the series? Only one I can think of is that I can't remember his name, but the mage that was in love with Nightchill. He was supposed to have
True.
been part something, whatever. Clearly, it was a Toblikai, whatever he was. But we know about these guys here in the north of
Bellardan.
Genebacus. Bellardan.
Skullcrusher.
And we don't know. We have no idea where he was from. And I think that is interesting. These guys are barbarians in the north of Genebacus, and that guy was an actual wizard.
Yeah. Do we have wizards? We haven't seen wizards, right? In the village.
Well, he's a mage.
Have we? Yeah, or mage. Have we seen any Toblikai using magic apart from that one?
in these,
Almost
no.
like they don't have magic, right?
No, they I don't know if they've explained it yet. They do not have magic,
he seemed
and there's a
surprised
reason for it.
when the guy tried to
Yeah.
use magic on him, and
Mhm.
at least one of them had no impact on Karsa.
Yeah, it's almost like
True.
they're anathema to magic. So, yeah, these guys not magical at all.
Also, what's up with those swords of wood?
Well, and then what is it called?
How are they sharp? I guess the blood oil makes them sharp.
Blood oil. Yeah.
But what's with blood
Yeah.
oil?
We don't know.
I think that's literally it.
Yeah. Wait,
I
what?
do love a magical wooden sword.
Mhm.
Like, there is just something so cool about when wood is actually badass and doesn't just, like, break immediately. I don't know what it is, but aesthetically, that's awesome.
I mean, wood can be pretty strong. The right kind of wood.
Yeah, but it's never gonna, like, compare to, like, a steel weapon or an iron
Yeah,
weapon.
I guess so.
So
I guess.
Or
So.
even
you-
bronze, which is why we for all of our sharp things, we switch to the metals.
can you make wooden swords sharp enough to slash through? I don't know, to cut skin.
I thought
Probably.
in my mind
I
it was
mean,
like he was able
The
to do it
paper
because he
can
was
cut
so
you. You
strong.
can make
Yeah,
wood sharp enough.
would have to be
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
thin. Yeah, interesting.
It would be hard, but if you knew how, I bet you could do it.
No, I mean, haven't you ever, like, cut yourself on, like, a tree or something? Like,
But those are
yeah, I definitely
splinters,
think you could
though.
do it.
Like that's the.
You're
Well,
right,
actually,
it
you have
is
to
with
splinter.
sharpen it to a splinter. Yeah, you just have to
Right.
sharpen it that much.
So they're just carrying around splinters.
Listen,
Well,
Varsha,
no, just the
Oh, the edge that thin. Yeah, makes sense.
clearly you're not using blood oil on your weapons. I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe if you use it like a really hard wood, like I
So
don't know, ebony
does
wood or something.
so does
Yeah.
blood oil make it sharp, or does it make it unbreakable, or like actually usable
Yes.
after
Made it-
you've tried
I
to
thought
cut
it made
something?
unbreakable,
Okay,
like hard.
just unbreakable. You've made it sharp on its own. Okay, interesting.
I mean, I feel like if you're making it hard, you are also making it sharper. If it's, like, sharpened to a point, it's because it's the hardness that keeps it from, like, I mean, it's the splintering that's the problem, right? Like, the energy being dispersed. But I don't know.
Is the sword
I'm not a
actually sharp?
physicist.
Does it say it's sharp?
Yeah, he's, like, cutting people in half.
But I thought it was
Yeah.
just because he was super strong, and even though it was dull, he was still able to, chop
No,
things
it's
just because he
sharp.
was so strong. Okay.
No,
It's definitely
if it
sharp.
wasn't sharp, you would just be crushing in people's sides and stuff. You wouldn't necessarily be cutting them.
Yeah. I guess I kind of thought
I
that
don't- I
was
mean-
happening, but
I mean, now maybe it doesn't need to be as like razor sharp, but it's got to be at least somewhat sharp.
yeah. True. I guess question. Who do you think would win between Karsa and Nair?
Interesting. What?
No spoilers, but Karsa.
Remind
guess
me
he's
of
a
Nair's
giant.
fighting skills.
Well, he is the most violent of all men.
But is he skilled? I think
Yeah,
we've seen that Karsa's pretty skilled.
guess so.
I
don't know.
I think Karsa. I think
But he's-
Karsa can just
yeah.
beat about anybody.
Karsa is, like, 2 feet taller
That's
than
his thing.
Nair. He's immune to magic. He has an unbreakable sword. I mean, just the fact that he's 2 feet taller and is, like, on steroids, magical steroids. I hate to say it, but Nair is like a dude.
I guess
Spoiler
so.
alert.
Yeah, but I think he's the closest character that I could think of. It's like
100%.
they're very similar to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. They are very similar. Their arcs are not similar at all,
No.
but they are very similar. I agree with that 100%. I mean, because they're both of them, they're Erikson and Baker, who are writing at roughly the same time. Baker a little bit after Erikson, saying, if the barbarian trope was real, these guys would suck. Like that's like
Yeah.
the most, that's the most simplistic, facile way of putting it. But like that is part of it, is them being like, because after Conan, a bunch of people did the like noble barbarian trope where they were like all cool and sexy and didn't go around raping and pillaging. Or if they did, it was cool and sexy. So
Yeah.
Carl, thank you
this
for
is
mentioning Baker, because I had no idea who you guys were talking about,
Okay,
and I was starting to
sorry.
wonder
okay.
if I had like dementia because I didn't remember some character named Mayor in Malazan.
Yeah. But they both also have the same
Okay.
sort of, not the same character arc, but they both come from a place of isolation and tradition, and then they start questioning their, they encounter the real world, which conflicts with their own understanding of the world, and that conflict makes them like an interesting character.
I would argue that's the most common story in fantasy.
Guess so. But I don't
Luke
think it's done
Skywalker's
that.
story is the exact same. Frodo, Harry Potter. I think that it's just specifically this is about an extremely violent person from an extremely
True.
violent culture going out and confronting what the rest of civilization is like. I do think thematically it changes what the story is about, and both of their stories, it's hard to talk about without having read more, but
Yeah, please. Yeah.
we'll just say
Yeah. Actually,
Barbarians.
it's fun because usually it's from the standpoint of it's human learning about a different culture. While here we're going from a standpoint of the Teblor and going back to human culture, sort of. So
And they speak in terms of the number of farms. So when the grandpa went there, apparently there was just like 1 or 2 farms. And now he thinks there'll be maybe 3 or 4, but entire cities have come up in the time. And Karsa is 80 years old and he's just attained adolescence, apparently. So
yeah, because the Teblor are stagnant and they live a long life, so nothing changes probably, or very very slowly. Or for
Absolutely.
humans, right? They're just all the time colonizing and changing, and right.
yeah.
I as you were saying that, Dan, it occurs to me that the very fact that they are surrounded by walls of ice is kind of a metaphor in and of itself about what's going on there. Like their culture is preserved. And now the ice is melting and they are venturing out through Karsa.
Very cool.
Erikson, dude.
Much nice.
This guy, whenever I think that he's like, I've reached the top, the ceiling of the depth, there's always something else.
Well, while we're talking about the Teblor, what do we think about Byroth and Delam?
So this is what I wanted to talk about.
Mm.
If you don't mind for a second, I am gonna. Well, I'm gonna have to hold off on some things because we have to wait until we need to read more before I can like really go off about this. But I would posit that in kind of a classic, fictitious, not fictitious isn't the right word, but like in fiction, what you often see with these like great hero characters is they often have foils, right? Who kind of reflect different parts of themselves that they have to accept and integrate, right? And adapt to. And I would say that Delam Thord and Byroth Guild are like 2 pieces of Karsa that he is fighting. Delam Thord is the loyal hound. We literally see this when he is made into effectively a dog.
Yeah.
And Byroth Guild is the intelligent philosopher, the critical thinker.
Yeah.
Who is actually able
I
to
really
woo women because he sees them as people and isn't just all bravado all the time. And I think they are explicitly there and have those traits very specifically because those are the parts of Karsa that he hates the most that he has to accept. Being loyal, being a follower, not being the top dog, and being a critical thinker. and nice to women.
Yeah, I really Byroth. I really like his antagonistic and yet still following relationship. Like, his last words were,
Me too.
"Lead me, war leader." It's even though he had not very long before that tried to kill him. Like, just the way they, like, I enjoyed that dynamic of like, I'm following you, but I also think you're stupid, but I'm following you.
I think it also it has that added depth of like
And Karsa was very threatened by him because this is, I think, in some
exactly.
ways,
That's what I was
Byroth is
gonna say.
who he
Yes,
wants to be. Like
exactly. Well,
Byroth, yeah,
I I think Byroth has what he wants to have, but he doesn't understand why he has that.
okay,
I think he actively looks down on. I mean, he like at least that's how he talks, right? Is he's like you think too much, you prevaricate, you're a coward, blah 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 blah. You need to be a real warrior, a real man, and like go out and just like kick ass and take names and take women
hmm
and blah blah blah, and don't doubt what you're taught because what you're taught is the truth and all of that stuff. And I think is so rich, with meaning and pathos that Byroth does. He kind of is living the life Karsa wants to have, with the exception that he's not the war leader, but he carries all
yeah,
these traits that Karsa views as like feminine, you know, as
I mean,
lesser.
it
yeah,
is symbolized by the woman back at the village, right? Which is with
Exactly.
Byroth, right?
Dallas,
Dallas, right? And he's like, well, now that I'm gonna do all these things, I'm gonna go back, and then she's gonna want to be with me. But that's not how it works.
It's so
yeah,
funny that we know has just been going around like strutting his stuff, showing off his peacock feathers, and she and Byroth have been like laughing at him behind his back, and he has no idea. And he has no idea that they're together. And he is
Mhm.
shocked when, she basically is like, yeah, I'm pregnant with Byroth's baby. And we've been
yeah,
in love. And we actually think you're kind of dumb in a funny way.
yeah. When Byroth and Karsa get into it, that my favorite burn was Byroth going, I followed you in all things, but with Dallas, you're gonna follow me.
What did you think of the? I felt like it was a roller coaster through like reading the three characters, their dynamics, um, because well, Karsa's an ass. It's really hard to like him. Everything he says is like, dude, just like stop and think for 2 seconds. Anyone speaks more than 3 sentences, he's like, shut up, I'm gonna go kill somebody. Um, but but then he does something successfully, and Byroth and Delam are like, um, you can see them change their minds about what they
Mhm.
think of him, or the surprise that Karsa doesn't know enough to find mildly insulting. To when he says, "You surprise me, war leader," and so on. I I thought that was interesting because those bits made me like Karsa more. Like,
Mhm.
every he's an ass, he's an ass, he's an ass, and then like Byroth says something like he trusts and respects him a little bit more now. And it's like, okay, slightly less of an ass. Okay, we'll go
Yeah,
again. And then someone else says, we respect you a bit. And then slightly less of an ass. So, like, I really found it interesting what seeing Karsa through these two characters did to my opinion of him. Like, how much that influenced what I thought of him at each point.
Yeah.
I think that's because in a very intentional way, that we come to Karsa with all of these preconceptions, about the type of character he is, and he expresses all of those. Like he tries to flatten himself. He tries to make himself one thing, and Byroth and Delam and the Nom cousin whose name I'm blanking on. What's
Torvald.
his name? Torvald. Thank you. I knew. I was like, Shannon loves
Torvald.
this guy. What?
Oh yeah. Well, he's probably my least favorite nom, but still, I love all noms.
Valid. But when you see him through the other characters, like they and you at the same time are realizing that Karsa actually has more going on underneath the surface than what he even presents himself to be.
I was gonna say when I was reading these 2 chapters with Karsa, the first time I genuinely liked Karsa was when they brought in Torvald Nom. I think the dynamic between the two of them were just amazing. One thing I always praise Erikson on is his just buddy duos. He just does buddies better than almost anybody. And I think these two, the back and forth between them, I really, really enjoyed it.
For me, it was the moment with his dog,
That
and
was a good scene.
with Na's, like not when he even like adopts the dog, but when later on when he's like, I will take care of this dog and make sure she lives a long life and whelps many puppies. Basically, he honors the dog. Like he in his head is like, I'm going to take care of this dog for the rest of her life, and if she dies, I will give her the best possible funeral. And if her, mate dies, and he does, I will care for him and revenge him. And that was like a moment of like honor and integrity and compassion that I think is one of those moments that shows you there's a little more going on with Karsa.
Yeah.
On top of that, freeing, the Forkerel Salle, even though he gets like all his ribs broken out of it.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever liked Karsa. Like, I grew to respect him, but he's still an asshole. Like,
Yeah, he's an asshole.
I don't think, unless he actually changes his mind and be like, well, actually, I was an asshole, and admits it to himself at least. I don't think I can like him. He's very interesting to read. I enjoy reading about him, and I respect how smart he is. But
it's hard to talk about him without getting
yeah,
to where his story goes, like getting to the end of
yeah, I
his
guess
story
so.
arc. But I will say that I think Karsa is one of Erikson's best characters. He is very complex, and I think he's one of those characters who always has more going on than he expresses. He talks in very broad, I mean, we're already seeing him develop, right? He's already becoming smarter. He's already becoming a little bit teensy bit kinder. He still is like a piece of shit, like he's terrible. You shouldn't like him. You're not supposed to like him, right? If you do like him, there's probably something a little wrong with you. But that said, he's a force of nature, and that is fun to read, right? How you can't stop him. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like that is enjoyable to read. I hate everything, that he's doing, why he's doing it. But it is fun to just see him just like come up against an obstacle, and instead of like he just powers through it. Like if he comes up against a mountain, he just like walks through the mountain.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, until when were we supposed to read? I forget. Sorry, let me double check. When does the
Chapter
part
2.
finish? Yeah, but what happens there?
It ends with him getting recaptured.
Okay, yeah,
He
because
and Nom
I
getting
wanted to
recaptured by
say,
the Malazans.
he had the opportunity to run away, right? But he chose to just kill some more.
He needed
he
vengeance. He took a vow
Yeah.
to kill them, so he must return to do it.
I guess
He's
so.
just an unstoppable force. I mean, except he does in a
Well,
way get
yeah.
stopped, but I don't know. I mean, clearly there's more. He's not dead yet. We know that. So
Yeah.
his story is not done. And I don't know. He is fun to
Well,
read
we know
about.
he ended up in the desert, so.
Do we have that confirmed?
Yes, it happened in the second book.
But we don't know that that's...
No, we know. It's named. He's named.
When is he named?
In the second book.
No, he isn't, dude.
I'm pretty sure the name is mentioned.
Spoiler alert. I really hope no one is a first-time reader
Really?
is listening to this. I promise you he is not named. I promise.
No, this is the first time we've seen the name Karsa Orlong with this book.
Okay. Well,
that other
maybe I
guy's
just
called Tobler.
I just assume because, who else could it be?
I don't know. There are other Teblor out there.
I guess.
Paladin Skull Crusher.
I
What are
guess.
you talking about? Man, Tobler has a big tattoo on his face. Karsa doesn't have a tattoo. It ain't him. Prove
Sure.
it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't believe
No,
it.
but I
Seems
know
like a
how
different
books
person.
work.
Okay, listen. Karsa Orlong, my hero, Karsa Orlong, would never work for a woman.
Yeah.
He never would do it.
Yes. Yeah, no way. I agree.
Too misogynist.
Exactly.
Far too.
Your hero.
He wouldn't even work for another man. Like, come
That's
on. What
true.
are we thinking? Dedicating himself to a cause other than
Yeah.
rape and pillage? No way.
Guy in the second book, he did what Leoman told him to do.
Yeah, Karsa wouldn't do nothing. Nobody told him what to do.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
But
We'll
did,
get
you,
there.
Okay.
did you guys like that bit when he decided that the Malazans were now his enemy?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you know who would be an excellent pairing with Karsa? Krupp, because
my
Karsa
God.
hates more than one sentence spoken in succession, and Krupp won't shut up. Who do you think will give up first?
That literally is that whole like idiom about what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Like that's what that would
Yeah.
be.
Yes.
I don't even know if Karsa could like catch Krupp. I think his hands would just slip over all that sweat. He would just slip off him. He's an eel,
Actually-
right?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, did they name Leoman in the second book?
Yes.
Okay, then
Yeah.
in that one, okay, then the person...
The big giant is just called Tobler.
Okay,
Yeah.
but since we know Leoman's name, then it must be...
No, we don't know Leoman in this book. He hasn't been in this book.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Well,
just-
not yet. I think you're ahead of us.
Okay.
Yeah. Where we stopped, he's only met Torvald Nom.
Yeah, he's still in Silver Lake. He just got, he hasn't gone anywhere else yet.
Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah, now I remember what happened. Because I was like, I
Now
read this
Okay,
I read this
now I
3 weeks
understand why you're
ago.
talking about this.
I read this 3 weeks ago, and I remember finishing the part. I was like, oh, I really want to read the next part. So I read like half of the next chapter. And then I forgot I did that.
No, he literally
Okay.
just got beat by the Malazans. That is the last thing that happened.
Yep.
Okay.
Captain
He was like,
Kindly.
I'm going to
We
kill
met
you
Captain
all, and they
Kindly.
take him out. Yeah.
That's
Yep,
right.
he met Kindly.
Lieutenant Porce and Captain Kindly. Captain Kindly's the
I
bald one?
loved.
Yeah.
I love the whole. This guy was trying to bribe me. Lie at the end. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this guy was trying to bribe me." He's like, "No, you solicited it." It's like, no, that's not how I remember it.
Very fun.
Yeah, that whole section was hilarious.
Yeah, we get the idea that Kindly is very by the book that way. Like he's,
Hmm.
and you can maybe even use that against other people.
I felt like they were both playing the same charade. Like they have done
Yeah.
this before, and it's just like get
Yeah, they
them
were.
in trouble.
It said
Yeah.
that like they were both kind of dancing around it,
Yeah.
and then I forget whatever Horn announces whatever, but he realizes Kindly's back, and he's like, okay, well the game's over. You know, it's too late now.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah,
What
I
else
really
happened?
enjoyed that.
Delam turned into a dog and then died really sadly when Byroth was
okay.
killed. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, before we get Delam, because how did Delam get turned into a dog? So they find a forkful of Salle.
That's right.
Yes, I was going to say, we got to talk
which
about
is
that.
really, I mean, I love that scene, but I will say, just stepping back a little bit, that is kind of weird. So was there a forkless sail under this boulder for we don't know how long. And I guess some humans were coming to it and maybe getting magic off of her or something. I'm not sure. Like there was something about that in there. But I'm just like, how has nobody tried to move this boulder in, like, I don't know, hundreds, thousands? We have no clue. Many years since this thing's been here.
Because
It just
most
seems kind of
people are
random.
not as dumb as Karsa Orlong. When they see something trapped under a boulder, they say, that's probably there for a good reason.
Well, he didn't want to free
Yeah.
it, right? Wasn't it
It was Byroth.
Byroth? Yeah.
Yeah, Byroth was the one that wanted to free it. He was kind of like iffy about it at first.
I do think it's a strength thing too. Like, it is a
That's true.
legit
It took all
boulder.
three of them.
So yeah.
And they tell you that this tribe is bigger than the tribe of Teblor that are actually in that region. So yeah, these three are bigger than the average Teblor plus their so I mean there is something to it.
Was it
But I just was
Icarium and the Talani Mass who put
Mhm.
it under there? Is that right?
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah.
What's her name?
So yeah,
What's
so Calm.
Calm, that's right. Yeah.
So we meet Calm, Forkful Lasalle. So apparently this is another ancient race. And they've got describe them, Carl. Like they've got extra joints.
Yeah, they have extra
Basically.
joints. They're like blue skinned. They have like, aren't their eyes like all black or something like that?
Maybe. I know they're really weird. Like you were saying, like I
Yeah.
can't think of another fantasy
No, they're alien.
race that
They're
really
very
looks
thin.
like this, because very thin, human sized. Because we get kind of told that like the
That's right.
Karsa is still way bigger than them. Because I think
That's
because
right.
they're so thin, I kind of imagined in my head they were tall and big, but no, not really.
Yeah. No, you're right. That is correct.
So yeah, they're really interesting. And so this one, that she came to bring peace, which we find out before the end, the peace was death. She was just gonna kill everybody, I guess. And so so the Talana Mass and Icarium put a boulder on top of her, just left her there.
Yeah. Have we heard of them before? I feel like we've vaguely heard of
We've
them.
had the name. Yeah.
But not in a good
I
way.
want to say,
right?
I want to say all the way back in the first book, they did actually mention this being a founding race, like an ancient race, in the same way as the Talana Mass and everybody.
They're definitely,
but
they're in the dramatis or they're in the appendix of Gardens of the Moon. Also, the For Cruel Sail as one of the 4 founding races. I don't think we've really been given any history about them. This is the first time.
I don't think we've been given anything. We just know
kind of
the
evil
name
a bit, or maybe it's just this one.
Well, if your idea of peace is murdering everybody, that's not great.
Guess so.
But it is peace. I mean, if everybody's dead, they can't argue anymore.
That's true. Not going to be a lot of fighting after everyone's dead. What else? What did she? Why did she start attacking them and almost kill them? I don't remember that. It was just to bring peace, right?
Just like to kill.
Yeah, not a very nice lady, that's for sure.
Yeah, but she doesn't kill them, right?
Well, she gives Delam that head wound, and then and then Karsa is just he gets away.
Honestly, I like Delam more after the head wound.
When he's a dog.
Yeah, I think that was an improvement. Definitely more entertaining. Seems nicer. He's not going to go around raping people. Like, I think it's an improvement all around.
I mean, he was probably the nicest of the 3 Doblakai there. So before.
Was he?
I mean, better than Karsa for sure.
Well, yeah, but they both are.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't think we're really given enough about him to judge too much. I mean, he was the more like true believer in Karsa.
Yeah.
Was my feeling. But other than that,
Yeah, just a bit more
He's I
cautious, maybe. But yeah.
he was the follower. Like he was like the good follower,
yes.
like just
That's how
doing what
that's how I remember
Karsa
him.
said.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think it's very intentional that he becomes a dog. Honestly, the dogs might have been smarter than him. Na seems pretty smart. I don't know what to say, you know? Like, she knows what's up.
Yeah, I still don't get though why did they decide to free the Forkless Sail?
Literally,
Byroth
like,
had the idea to do it. I don't know if they tell us exactly why. Does anybody remember?
I think
I just
he remembers the bit about the Assail wanting to bring peace, but he
yeah.
thinks peace like he knows it, not
That's
the way
it.
she means it.
Oh, okay. I
That
didn't
was
get
it.
that.
Like somebody so kind wants to bring us peace is trapped here. Never mind the horror movie arm that's coming up here.
But I thought that Toblakai don't want peace. They want to raid and fight. No.
Yeah, that's what Karsa says. He's like, peace is for wimps. There's no reason we should do this. And Byroth's like, well, that's tough, Karsa. We're gonna do this. And Karsa's like, I guess. That's how it plays out word for word. I
Yeah.
just quoted it exactly.
Yeah.
I guess.
Feels like a quote.
That's Karsa's new catchphrase, not witness, but I guess.
I guess, exactly.
Yeah. Might as
Karsa,
well.
I guess, Orlong. I don't know. Now we know where Dan got it. Anything else? What else? Oh, we haven't even talked about the 7 gods. And
Yeah.
we like briefly did, but that's like right at the beginning. They're Talani Mass. And they weren't gods. They were losers and outcasts who the Teblor happened to stumble across their like graves that were actually like signs of how much they suck. And they decided, hey, maybe we should worship these people. Yeah. And so they did.
And they sacrificed their defective children to them.
Yeah, from inbreeding, all of their sad, deformed babies get sacrificed.
But they're actually not dead. They're just in making another tribe of deformed Toblakai.
They were ghosts, weren't they?
Were they?
I thought they were ghosts.
The gods are ghosts, yeah.
No, I mean
the children who were sacrificed. They see them off as Karsa and co leave the village. All of Karsa and Byroth and Delam's siblings who were sacrificed see them off. But they're dead.
Still alive.
Were they ghosts? I thought they were alive too.
I thought they were ghosts. Interesting.
I thought they were abandoned there at the gods, and then there's this other god or whatever that just picks them up, and she's making her own tribe of, and then she like scars half of her face or something.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's what I remember too.
Okay, I thought she was doing that with their souls, not actually like raising them. Is that what she's doing? Is she raising these children?
I think so. I don't know why or how they haven't figured it out that they're still there, because it's a whole group of people, but
they're very sneaky.
I mean, they can't be that sneaky if they're looking down at them, you know? Like,
yeah. Okay, yeah, that maybe makes more sense than them being ghosts.
I'm wondering if it's like half of it, like, how do I say? It's like a social construct, as in they're like dead. Like they know they're still there, but they're dead for the tribe, and they don't talk about them. They assume they're dead. It just, I don't know, something like that.
I mean, yeah, the tribe definitely, literally thinks they're dead.
Don't
like
you think so?
That is definitely true.
Okay, I wasn't sure if they just really knew they were dead, or they just treat them as dead because that's how they just say they're dead, even though they're alive in the woods or whatever.
Like
I think it's like
Charles Singer from the Prologue.
Yeah, something like that.
It is an interesting parallel there. But they both have this exile or sacrifice being kind of a... Well, it's different. I guess the context is different. It's a punishment in the prologue for the Tist Eder, but it's
Yeah.
more of a sacrifice. It's not really about the children. It's about the gods.
Yeah, why do
One
they
with
do that?
Teblor.
Well, I don't remember if they really got into it. It's because she's Sibel or whatever, the unfound. So these are her found.
Yeah.
Like they give the defected ones to her. I don't know. I guess that's just their solution to birth defects.
Yeah.
Also, all the sacrificed ones are all the ones with birth defects. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. They don't make that clear right at the start. That's explained later on.
Okay, I get it.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm going on the wiki, trying to save you the risk of spoilers to see if we can figure out what the answer is here. But let's talk about other things in the meantime.
What else is there?
What else?
So Karsa has, I think we're up to 3 potential children in these 2 chapters. We got a pair of sister aunt and niece from that first village, and then ours also the girl that gets blood oiled in Silver Lake.
Yeah. Is she gonna come up again later in the books? I feel like that might come up again. It feels like the way it's set up, it feels like her
It does
or
feel
a
like
child.
it's something that could come back up.
Yeah. Half Teblor or something.
Because he is positive that he impregnated those first 2. So that just kind of jumped out at me as like, oh, so we got potentially 2 children of Karsa right here.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing we can really say about that is that those women are definitely pregnant. We know that much. The text tells us that.
How do we know that? I guess they say that, but
it literally says it. It literally says in the text.
Oh, yeah,
like there's like an omniscient narrator point.
True.
That his seed took.
So blood oil makes your wood hard, but also drives you sex crazy.
It also makes your wood hard.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say that. I thought you were gonna say makes your wood hard, but also your wood hard.
Well, because it also affects women. I mean, come on. But yeah,
that's true.
Like that's an interesting.
How would you say it for women?
Element.
It makes your blade sharp, and no, that doesn't make sense.
That also sounds phallic.
Yeah,
not going there.
It wets your. Okay.
Jesus. It definitely. I mean, we see it drives you into like a frenzy, right? Well, for humans at least. No, I mean even the Teblor, it affects them less, but they still have a reaction.
Yeah, drives you into like a berserker rage, but also makes you super horny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what it is. What is blood oil? What could it be?
We definitely can't talk about that.
But what do you think it could be?
We definitely can't. No, we can't talk about that because you do find out.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You will find out.
Okay. I thought it was never going to get explained or something.
It does. This is crazy how hard it is to find out where is this lost tribe of... Are they ghosts? Are they surviving children?
I think rereading it...
I hit the wiki up too. It didn't really tell me much except they're just the found.
I found this section and it's unclear, but I think it's more clear that they are alive now because it's except if the god is not really alive, I don't know who's raising them. It says Urid born, Urid sacrificed. They were bloodkin to Karsa. In their 4th month of life, they had each been given to the faces in the rock, laid down by their mothers in the glade at sunset, offered to the 7th embrace, vanishing before the sun's rise. So they didn't die. So they weren't killed. I thought they were. I misremembered that. They were just placed near the rocks and then they had vanished. So maybe the God, quote unquote God, was raising them.
Yeah, that's my feeling is that I was wrong earlier. There's not 7 tribes. There's 6 tribes of Teblor, and then the 7th tribe are these birth defects that are given to this one, and they're something
It can't
separate,
be
something different.
that goddess, though, right? Because we're explicitly told the 7 wake up, that they were dormant, and they awake at the beginning of the book. Like they're basically
Are we
they
told that? I
haven't
don't
been
remember that.
like functioning for like thousands of years.
Hmm.
That's definitely a thing. I mean, I would have to reread it, but I remember being like, oh wow, they've been taking a long nap, and like I don't think they're actively they haven't been like, even while they've been worshipped, they haven't been actively helping the Teblor out. It's like it like
Yeah.
literally is a completely fake,
Well, it doesn't
cult.
need Symbel or whatever to be active. If she set it up and she set up this kind of organization, then she can go dormant
Right.
and they can just keep running in her name.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my question is, yeah, who takes the babies? Is it the other
Oh, the other-
unfound?
Yeah. I
Probably
would
the
assume.
others, yeah.
It has to be a
I
fully
also-
functioning tribe, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's actually kind of beautiful in a tragic way that they honestly probably have better lives in their weird little tribe of outsiders than they would within the tribes.
Oh, yeah. They would probably
you-
just be killed otherwise. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like you know that these tribes, with how they function, they would not treat them well.
no.
So it
They
actually
wouldn't
is
be treated
Yeah.
anything. They would be killed. I think that's straight up.
That's what I
yeah, it's-
thought. But I think I slightly changed my mind when they describe the fact that they mutilate half of her face, I guess. And at that point, I was like, maybe it's this other god is not as nice as I thought she might be.
Well, I agree with that, but at the same time, it's that versus probably literally dying.
Yeah. No, I just thought in the beginning, I just thought it was much better than it actually turned out.
Right?
Sort of to me.
Yeah. It's not like Care Bear Island. They're
Yeah.
not a reference I ever thought I would make ever in life, to be honest. That one definitely, I don't know where that came from.
I don't know, but just believe, man. Believe and you'll save them.
Yeah. I assume this whole thing is also, it's a reference to like the myth of the Spartans that exposed the children which we thought were malformed to the elements.
It's not just the Spartans. A lot of cultures have done that.
Yeah. But, yeah. I don't know how real it is, but actually they did it. But.
It's definitely real. I know that there are legal documents about like in England and Ireland, people like leaving out babies because they think they're changelings.
True.
So they're definitely, it has been done. And I mean, I hate to say it, but like it's not that surprising. You think of like in the long span of history that oddities, sufficiently different children would be left out to die when you think about how hard it is to keep a child alive anyway when they're healthy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right. I would be dead. But, it's not shocking either.
In an Olaf Stapledon book, I think it was, which is the one that's not, Star Maker is the one that's universe spanning, right? Last and First Men. There is a civilization that supposedly drops kids from up high to see if they survive.
Oh,
that's crazy.
That's how they cull their weak ones. I was both terrified and found it not terrified. I was both what's the word I'm looking? Horrified and found it extremely hilarious at the same time.
Yeah, that is
from
funny.
how high do they drop them?
Oh, I think they crashed them on airplanes or something, or they took them up and airplanes were involved. I remember this much.
What?
Wait, was it the
How do any of the
civilization?
kids survive?
I remember there was a civilization obsessed with like flying in aeroplanes.
Yeah.
Is it that one?
I think so.
Okay.
But airplanes were involved, and it was hilarious. uh, written in the casual, not casual, in the documentary tones
Yeah.
of like a history book. This was
That's crazy.
Got some crazy stuff
with
in there.
no emotion attached to it whatsoever. I'm like, okay, moving on.
Thank you for that anecdote. I needed that. Have we hit everyone's like the
I think
things they wanted to
so.
talk about?
Dan
so.
didn't
Yeah.
have one, but do you remember
Yeah.
one now? We get
No,
folklore,
I'm sure we
Dan-
discussed basically everything.
Yeah.
I do remember Dan mentioned that he liked the reveal of who the children were. That because we
Mm,
at the beginning of these we hear them talking about killing children, and then we find out children are just
yeah.
normal sized people.
Yeah.
Well, that's something I wanted to mention. Do you guys know the story about the origin of Karsa Orlong? And okay, so Erikson and Esselmont like started this world, originated this world with like playing D&D, and then
Yeah.
D&D turned into a different role-playing system called GURPS.
Mhm.
And they kind of went their separate ways and played with different groups of people. And in one of the campaigns, I cannot remember the guy's name. I feel bad. But he is thanked in several of Erikson's books, and I do believe he's one of the early readers. So if you go to the acknowledgments, you can find his name. He's been interviewed before. He was interviewed on the 10 Big Books podcast that like read through the whole Book of the Fallen. And basically, Erikson had them like create these characters, and this guy's character was like a barbarian, a classic barbarian. It's Karsa Orlong, right? And he opens up their very first session and he tells them, all right, so you go down the valley to kill children. And didn't give them any context. No context whatsoever. And gradually, as they were playing, they found out that the children were humans and they were giants. And so this whole thing we're reading actually has been gamed. I don't
That's
know
pretty
where
cool.
the gaming stops, but this actually has an origin point. Yeah.
It does make sense, I think. It also feels kind of contained a little bit, like an adventure sort of thing. So I can definitely see that.
That's another thing. Another anecdote. I've listened to so many Erikson interviews at this point and read so many. I mean, he's just, it's always fun to listen to him. And hopefully we'll get him again on the podcast soon. But he said the reason why he decided to open book 4 like this was because he'd heard from critics that they didn't think he could stay engaged and write one character, one point of view for an extended period of time and keep it interesting, that he just wasn't a good enough writer to do that. Apparently this was a critique going around after the first 3 books. And so he said, screw you. I'm going to do several hundred pages of just that. And so this is what we get.
Yeah, I have heard that one before, and I love that this whole Karsa Orlong. Well, book one of this book is just an FU to his critics.
It's great.
Yeah, it's not an inability; it's a choice.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Cool. What? Sorry, Dan, you were saying?
No, nothing.
No. I was there anything more to discuss about the raid on the village, or are we more or less done? And the grandfather, the liar and jerk of a grandfather.
Fuck that guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, that scene is crazy. That's one little thing to talk about, is that the dad just straight up murder-suicides the grandpa. I've never really understood that, other than obviously the grandpa sucks. But even after this second read, like, I don't fully understand why he did that.
He kills him?
No, I thought he just
yeah.
kicked him out of the house.
Yeah.
He said, I don't want to see you ever again. Please leave. We're done. That's it. I didn't think he
I
killed
thought they
him.
murder-suicide. I thought he
maybe
like poisoned him and was like, you're never gonna, maybe I made that up.
I thought it was sort of like, because they were fighting and then the grandpa insulted him and then he's like, okay, well, I'm going to be civil for now. I'm going to finish my dinner and then fuck you. You're out here forever and never coming back.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Shannon, did you think it was a murder-suicide? Did
No.
I completely miss that? No. Okay.
But
Interesting.
in the end,
Okay,
like
yeah.
the only problem of a grandfather is just that he's like a bit of an asshole in what he said, but he didn't do as many bad things as Karsa did in reality.
Well, I mean, he's sort of egging Karsa on to go down and murder people and calling
Yeah.
Sinning a coward when he apparently was a bit of one himself. So
Yeah.
I would argue that it's better than actually going and killing people, probably. He did kill a couple of people, but less than Karsa for sure. I guess maybe
Oh,
it's
so
not
yeah.
because
Yeah, but Karsa came down and just murdered people. This guy came down half starving, pathetic. They nursed him back to health, and then he killed them. Like, he's worse. Like,
that is
this
true.
guy sucks. Like, he's not even as powerful as Karsa. Like, he's just pathetic
yeah.
and then kills people.
I'm pretty sure he killed a lot less people, like an order of
He
magnitude
did
less
kill a
people.
lot. I will agree. He probably killed a lot less people.
He betrayed them after they gave him food. I feel like we know enough about Karsa now to say that he probably
Yeah.
wouldn't do that.
I agree
I
with
mean,
that.
he did deceive a bunch of other Teblor into thinking that other Teblor were the ones attacking them and were probably gonna fight each other. I don't know.
Like war tactics. Is that the
Yeah, I
same
think
They
that's
as...
were
different.
tactics. They were.
I mean,
Well,
they're all
yeah,
terrible
but-
things. I'm not trying to defend anything. I'm just saying there's a certain, like, if you look really closely, squint really hard, there may be some like morality and integrity in one case that is completely lacking in another.
Well,
Yeah,
I think that Karsa has a certain honor that his
Yeah.
grandfather doesn't have.
Yes.
Like, it's not that he's good. It's not that he's a great guy or anything like that. It's just that he has a code, a moral code that says, yeah, I'm awful and I'm going to kill people, but I'm not going to, try to manipulate them. I'm not going to try to pretend to be something.
Yeah.
What epitomizes the difference is Torvald Nom.
Mm.
Based on what we know of the grandfather, who I did check and was just threatened to be killed. So he was just thrown out of the house. And I don't know how I read that twice and had missed that. I can't explain it. But yeah, Seinig, the grandfather, or no, that's the father. Whatever the grandfather, Palk.
Polk, yeah.
is, yeah.
Sinig's the
the fact
father,
that
Polk is the grandfather. Yeah.
Like, we have no reason to think that Karsa, if someone helped him, he would then betray them and kill them. Like, that's not how Karsa has behaved, which is, as everyone has said, is not saying that he's
No,
a
he'll
good
just kill
guy
you.
or that he doesn't trick you, but like, he will go, if he tricks you, he's like, it's as part of raiding tactics. It's not like, oh, you did a nice thing for me, so now I'm going to ruin your life / kill you.
I guess. I'm just saying this. If I'm a normal person farming my farm, maybe I'd rather see Falk than Karsa. Maybe.
Well, yeah, sure, because Polk's more pathetic. Like, he'll just come down and
exactly.
just, don't nurse him back to health. Just let him die. Like, that's
Okay. What else? Quotes? Are we ready to do quotes? I only have
I think we're
one
ready.
this time. I need to
I
find
don't have my
it though.
book on me, so I have no quotes.
Okay.
Yeah, I failed my homework. I don't think I highlighted any quotes this
I didn't have a whole lot. I just had the one from the prologue, the last line from it. If my... Yeah, okay. What? Yeah. I forget where this starts, but there's something about nature and balance. But the last line is, "And nature shall not abide." I liked that. I liked how that concluded, and I loved the ominous nature of it. And to think that just some italics did that. and the line, of course, but
No, that's good wording.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's...
anything else?
I-
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is kind of a quote,
Yeah,
but
gimme.
witness,
Yes,
Karsa's
Witness.
like slogan,
Witness me.
right?
this
His
I
motto.
vow.
What'd you say, Dan?
Witness me.
Yeah.
What does it
It's
mean?
a- No,
No,
it's
witness me.
yeah, it's
Oh yeah,
Mad Max.
witness. Well, and I think it's great because we know in this world, um, with ascendants, like that's actually important. Like witness,
Mm,
like see me do great things. Like I
very
don't
true.
know if Karsa means it necessarily in that way, but I think it fits with the general world that we're in. Like
No, I mean, he definitely means it in a related way that like he wants to be famous. He wants to be
Mm.
remembered for all of time. And I think the theme of witnessing is one we've already, I think,
Mhm.
explored in different ways and will continue to explore. I can say I don't think that's a spoiler.
yeah, no,
The whole idea of witnessing someone or something is very potent.
important. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very important. I mean, going all the way back to book 2 when we met oh gosh, what was their names? The Truth and uh
Who?
what's his name? The Marines. The
Yeah.
what's his name in Truth?
Oh, Truth.
But anyway,
Stormy Gessler.
Stormy.
Yes.
Truth and
Yeah.
Stormy and Gessler. It talks about how close they are to ascending, and it relates that to how famous they are. Like,
Right.
oh, they've done all these great deeds, and they're so close to ascending, and so it's witness me, like witness, and like that can lead to godhood essentially in this world.
Well, I can see
Right.
Karsa becoming ascendant.
And what does it mean to go unwitnessed? You know, if a tree falls in the
And
forest and no one's around, does it make a sound? Right.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it
Kind of
does.
old classic philosophical, but like talking like obviously in a literal way it does, right? But I
Yeah, it
think
does.
we're in the like
but in this
emotional.
world, does that matter? If you do something
Yeah.
amazing and nobody witnesses you, did it really matter? Like at least as far as ascendancy and that kind like power goes.
And not just in terms of power, but like if you do something noble, sacrifice yourself and nobody ever knows about it, what does that mean?
Oh.
If someone is, I mean, just brutally murdered, you know, nobody's around to find out. No one knows. No one ever knows. What does it mean? You know? I mean, I think it's really what it is it's an existential question about kind of the point of life and actions.
How much are you
I think that
doing for
was
yourself and how much
yeah.
to be seen? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And does it have value, right?
Hmm.
I mean, clearly we feel it does, human beings. I don't think Karsa's like it clearly speaks to his culture and to who he is that he's always yelling witness, but I do think that there's something that like a lot of humankind can relate to in that it feels very human that we want to be witnessed. We want to be seen, not just our actions,
Mhm.
but who we are, right? Um, and yeah, what does that mean to be truly witnessed?
I don't know. Well, there was another quote also from Karsa. What was it? Something like, I don't know, or maybe. What you had a quote before, right?
But yeah, I guess
I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that
was a
was
good quote.
that one. Yeah, that
that
was
was
a
a good
good quote.
one.
My favorite takes the cake from nature shall not abide.
Just short to the point,
I guess.
really
Well, I
speaks
think
to his
when
character.
I think in these chapters, my favorite Karsa quote is going to be near the end of chapter 2. It's when he's talking with Torvald Nam, and he says, "You talk too much, Torvald Nam. I'm ready to turn this log once more."
Yeah.
That was nice.
And then Torvald says, "Damn, I was hoping you'd forgotten about that."
They do have a funny dynamic. It's good.
Yeah, you talk too much. That's the other Karsa thing. Always enough words.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Enough
Yeah,
talk.
he doesn't like words.
They talked about him with Corrupt, but honestly, him encountering Malazan Marines is also, I mean, he said they're his mortal enemy now, but like those Marines never shut up.
No,
They're
they
just
don't.
always talking.
Yeah.
That's fair. Oh, well, lots of Karsa with talkers coming up next week. I think we're going the next 2 chapters. Let me check.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Nice figure thing says,
Chapters 3 and
which will
4.
take us to the end of book 1.
There we go.
Will take us to the end of book 1. So that will happen next week. Once again, if you're following along with us, please check out the Patreon forum. That's where we do all our planning. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.